Yeah. This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Let's go.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
So today, there was a lot of chatter about the Queen's funeral, of course.
Oh, well, when's it not fun talking about a funeral? We're going out for dinner and we want to get a $260 steak and we don't know if that's okay to make someone else pay for that. So we get some people's advice and they share their stories of when they had to pay. Or
I feel like Sean's going to do it.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to push the boundaries. Griff Logue joins us from the I can't say that anymore. He's leaving the Fremantle Dockers.
Yeah.
We get the inside word on that and, of course, his shorts that everyone's talking about.
And Susanna Carr was our on-the-spot reporter in London.
Yeah. And dropping something when that was bad. Oh, these are good, but they're bad.
This is Nathan, Nat and Sean.
So we all watched a funeral yesterday, didn't we? It was beautiful. And I think the hour
Long.
service... No, but just the hour service, I don't think that was that long.
No, I think... you know what? I was wondering if I'd watch it and be into it, and I actually was feeling it and was really interested in all the different people, all the processions that were happening, and probably all the heads of state that were there.
I tell you what, they do a chorale very well, don't they?
Yeah.
Like when those choir boys got going,
They're
their voices are unbelievable.
Did you see the little red-headed boy?
I know.
There was one red-headed boy in there, so all the other boys in the choir, they were just singing and they were straight ahead and singing. This other red-headed boy, he was swaying like Stevie Wonder. He was so into everything. He was performing and it was like all about him. He was my favourite. Just the whole showmanship and it just seemed very respectful. I mean, look, it was very stiff. But that's what the royal protocol is not to show emotion. The thing that really puzzles me, though, is this is on the way to the funeral. King Charles is driving past and literally, driving past in the car, and William was in them, and the crowd were like,
and the public are cheering and clapping as he goes through, because there will not only be the King, there will be Prince William, there will be Princess Anne, and there will be the Duke of Wessex.
He's on his way to his mother's funeral.
I know, and everyone's like,
and imagine you going to your mother's funeral and there'd be a crowd outside going, woo!
There's
something so strange what they have to put up with during this moment of grieving, which in normal circumstances would be very inappropriate.
Yeah.
There's nothing normal about their life.
The whole
I
thing.
know, but when you just put it back to your own life, someone cheering as you go to your mother's funeral while you're upset
weird.
is...
Very strange.
Very, very strange. My dad, though, he was the funniest. He was ringing me up during it, he was going off his brain, rang me back 5 times. He's going, what are they doing about the toilets? And he goes, where are they? He goes, this is insane. And he's going, they must take tablets or something. No one's moved. What if they have to go? He goes, you cannot tell me that someone right there, right now is not busting to have a leak. And I was going, they can hold it. It's been an hour. He goes, no, they've been there for a few hours. He goes, if I was invited to that front row, I wouldn't go.
I think you're
on the
safe,
toilet
Brian.
situation alone.
I think you're safe.
So he was going off about it. It was very funny. But the thing that was really, really funny, and you put yourself in that person's shoes, is it looked like one of the bishops or the priest,
looked like an archbishop
up the top behind the coffin. He was putting on his glasses, and this is
to mourn our loss, to remember her long life of
everyone's silent. This is right at the start.
And
puts his glasses on, and then a bit of paper falls out of his booklet and just lands right in the shot of the coffin. And then that was the sort of zooming, sweeping shots of the coffin. That was going to be a piece of history. And in the piece of history was a random piece of paper that looked like a bit of rubbish. And everyone, I reckon, was just going...
Twitter was losing its collective mind.
Pick it up. What do you do? Do you pick it up? Do you get out of line? Do you not pick it up? What do you do? And so...
My entire Twitter feed was full of people just going, oh my God, move the piece of paper, pick the piece of paper up. What are you doing? It was so...
I ran it straight away and recorded it because I didn't know how many people would pick up on it because I wasn't on social media at the time, and I was just laughing. And then, so about 10 minutes later, 5-10 minutes later, the piece of paper was gone, but so was the guy that dropped it.
But maybe he went to the toilet.
That seat was empty and it was not filled for the rest of the thing. And I was like, oh my God, that is...
Maybe he had another service to get to.
Do you think, even though it wasn't a bad thing that he dropped, do you think that's the worst thing he's ever dropped?
100%. Because he's just standing there and everyone's been told how the day is going to operate.
Oh, well, they
did how to sit.
Numerous rehearsals.
And he's dropped the piece of paper.
That would be, and it is a simple little slip of paper, that will go down in history as being the worst thing that someone has dropped at a funeral. And it's not even bad. Dropping the coffin's bad usually.
Yes, it is. That is frowned upon,
but dropping a coffin at a normal person's funeral is not as bad as dropping the piece of paper at the Queen's funeral.
Harry's laughing at the coffin. Harry's pressing the buttons this morning.
People have dropped coffins.
Have dropped it, haven't they?
People have dropped coffins. I tell you that right now.
For sure.
How good is exploring our amazing backyard again?
And ticking off all the Aussie big things. Pineapples, bananas, melons.
Oh, that's making me hungry.
Head to whatif.com and start planning your big Aussie adventure.
What if it's Aussie for travel?
Talking about a piece of paper.
Yes.
One of the clergy yesterday at the Queen's funeral dropped a piece of paper and it was right in the shot behind the coffin. The whole world saw it. So dropping that piece of paper was quite bad at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, it does. It's so small in the realm of things.
Yep,
but
that's right.
It stuck out.
He ruined that shot. Aaron's in Greenfields. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, Aaron. We're talking about when dropping something is pretty bad. What happened?
It was a Monday morning, 7 a.m. I'm a roof plumber. I have my own business, so I was like getting my morning coffee on the way to work. And then, front of the queue, and there's like a massive line of tradies behind waiting to pay for their petrol. And silly me has to spill my large cappuccino across the whole desk, all over the girl's shirt, my shirt, everything.
Aaron just laughs.
And burning hot too, Aaron, obviously. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
Devote. That's how badly he needed the coffee.
Yeah.
He couldn't actually hold on to the cup.
It's terrible when
it's
terrible when you include someone else in your mistake.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, it's not
I
great.
know. Oh, awful. Thanks, Aaron. Peter's in Alkimos. Hello.
Hi, how you going?
Hey.
Great, Pete. Okay, what happened?
Well, it was actually happened to my sister. After my mum passed away, we went through all the her stuff and her china and everything, and divided everything up. And she had a friend that owned a moving company, and wrapped it all up and took it to Melbourne for her from Brisbane. Except in the warehouse, they dropped the entire box and smashed all my mum's china.
Oh, no.
Everything, and she'd lost everything. My sister cried for about 2 weeks, but just all the expensive china and all the stuff that meant everything to my sister, gone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do kids, like, do you, okay, how am I going to say this? Do people want their parents' china?
Yes.
Right, because
my grandma had a china set that was much coveted. Everybody loved it.
Yeah.
And so, like, the several pieces of it were distributed through the family.
Oh, right, so they broke up the china set.
Yeah.
So that's how much they love the china.
Yeah.
Because someone tried to give me china, I'd give it
back. No thanks. Yeah.
Is it a lady
I mean,
thing?
I don't think parents have good china anymore. Like,
No,
it's like our
God,
grandparents' age. Yeah.
But it doesn't appeal to me even if they did.
But you're a man.
Yeah, you've got like a 24 set from IKEA. Passed down generations.
Sorry for your loss, Pete. Thank you.
Oh, that's terrible.
Kylie, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, we're talking about when dropping something is quite bad. What happened?
So my husband dropped my son when he was probably nearly 2, dropped him down the back stairs, and then in the last few years he's dropped my grandson down the stairs as well. So they're
It's a bit of a pattern.
Why are so many people throwing babies at him?
You wouldn't let him hold
He can't be trusted.
He can't be.
Okay, so how did it affect your son growing up? How was he?
No, he's fine. He's 21 now.
He's in prison now.
Yeah, and my grandson's 4, so they both had the same accident.
Too soon to tell.
When you drop a baby, do you just pick them up and go, just blow the dirt off their head?
Yeah, because they don't know. They don't know.
That's what he does. He's like, you'll be right, mate.
Yeah.
Like with his face all smashed in.
Yeah. I think going forward, do not let your husband hold any more babies, okay?
No, definitely not.
We've learned a valuable lesson today.
The Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Early this morning before the show, we caught up with the Queen of Perth, Susanna Carr, because she's in London doing the coverage of the Queen's funeral yesterday for Channel 7. Let's have a listen. Hi, Sue.
Morning, Sue.
Hi, Sue.
Hi, guys.
Oh, Sue.
Are you a wreck after putting in so many hours?
I'm so tired. We got up at, what is it now? It's 10:15 here now, and I got up at, I think, about 2:45.
Oh.
Wow. So, you know what? Some of the like the places that sent reporters over, some seemed a bit strange, but you seem to be the right fit.
It's like
Sue.
you're made for this gig.
It's like the Queen of Perth goes and covers the Queen of England.
It just makes sense.
And it just made us all feel comfortable, Sue.
Oh, thank you.
Where was your vantage point yesterday? Obviously, there's a lot going on. We've been watching all the action and the ceremony, which went for an eternity. Where were you stationed?
We were inside the outer, if this makes sense, we were inside the outer walls of the castle because it's got a number of sets of walls.
Yeah.
So we were within a very secure area, right? It was a fantastic view there. And when we got there, it was pitch black, and we watched the sun come up over the castle, which was pretty spectacular. It was quite a chore getting into situations like this because they close the towns off and they block off all the roads. And the closest we could get in this morning was about a 20-minute walk.
Oh,
yeah, wow.
And it started to drizzle, and none of us had any umbrellas.
Of course it did.
We believed the British forecast.
Oh, well, there's your first mistake. Oh, so what a way to start the day.
Here she is, sad and went to the funeral.
Oh, yeah. I was walking along holding my second jacket over my head and using it like an umbrella. It worked.
Oh, so you've covered so many huge stories in your career. Where does this sit for you?
Oh, well, I suppose this is the one that we all knew would happen at some stage.
Yes.
And this is the whole thing about the Queen dying. We knew it was going to happen. She was 96, so it was a matter of just when, really. It's been an extraordinary experience being down there, watching everything happen. At one point, I was doing a little piece with ITV who are doing behind the scenes, and we were chatting about what goes on and how the crowds cheer, and all of a sudden the crowds cheered, and the King went past us, so that was perfect timing.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah, so we've had quite a few amazing things. We've also heard the world's worst bugler.
Really?
It's quite a skill, as it turns out.
Every day.
The world's worst bugler.
The horse guards, those guys with the amazing costumes on the horses with the high hats. Every morning at the same point, about 10 minutes before we'd go to air for the 6 o'clock, they would go by, and this terrible out-of-tune bugler. And we would be just grimacing.
Somebody tell him.
Oh, here he goes again.
Well, we've seen how many numbers have been used everywhere. Maybe the number 1 and number 2 were busy at other places.
Yes.
These are the people that picked it up last week.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
They dragged in somebody who really didn't know what they were doing.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, so one thing that a few people were asking me when I was talking about the funeral while it was on yesterday, and I couldn't answer, was why was there sand everywhere on the roads? Because everywhere that is, did you find out a reason why that there was sand everywhere that the funeral was going?
No, I didn't.
Yes. Sand.
And maybe I really don't know. That's one thing I don't. We found out all sorts of things today because we were sitting there just watching a lot of it come by, and obviously we couldn't see everything in person because some of it was in London. We were in Windsor, and I said, "Why are sailors pulling the gun carriage?" So we checked on that. Amazing story. In 1901, when Queen Victoria died, the weather was so bad, it was really, really cold, that the horses pulling the carriage with her coffin on it took fright and started rearing up, and it got very dangerous.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And so the forces who were there at the moment were the sailors, and their commander said, well, how about we get the sailors to pull the carriage instead?
Oh, and the sailors were like,
hey, this is a one-off. We don't have to roll this out every funeral, do we?
Extraordinary that they had to pull it for 12 kilometres, and then there's a hearse waiting for them.
Do you know how much that coffin weighs?
What?
1/4 of a ton.
Oh!
So this is my thing with the 8 pallbearers. I was so impressed by those guys because it's a lead-lined coffin.
Yeah.
I was led to understand.
Absolutely. It in old terms, it weighs between 550 and 700 pounds.
Yes.
Oh my God.
So 1/4 of a ton. And we met a really interesting guy at the castle today who was from the BBC, and he'd been there for the rehearsals every day. And he said the coffin bearers were practicing with a coffin loaded with weights. and somebody got the weights wrong, and it was only 3/4 as heavy as it should be, and they then had to suddenly start rehearsing with the right weight. And he said they are actually really straining to lift that coffin. It's really, really heavy.
You saw it on their faces, right? And then I saw a couple of them were sweating, and I thought it's amazing because not only are you doing that, but they're walking in unison, they're marching in unison,
small steps,
and with the world watching them.
And then, but imagine, okay, so we've all moved house, right?
Yeah.
So imagine picking up the heaviest thing, right? A fridge or whatever. What do you want to do when you put it down? You want to go, oh,
exactly. You can't do that.
But they were so straight faced. Their mothers and fathers should be so proud of the job that they did.
Oh, yeah. And did you notice the crown and the scepter and the orb didn't move?
Yes. No. Yes.
Well, we found out what happens with that too. There's a plate underneath the royal standard, the flag.
Yeah.
And that flag has holes in it that are sort of like buttonholes at exact points. And there are rods that go in that are attached to everything. So there's no chance that crown that's got the world's largest diamond in it is going to fall off, and they're going to suddenly say, oops.
Oops, yeah,
now
exactly.
Imagine if they're all rolled down the aisle.
Oh, yeah, God, that's a great sign.
The big star of the funeral last night, of course, was the piece of paper.
Oh, yes. Natalie.
Oh, yeah.
Extraordinary that in something that is measured to perfection, a piece of paper shows everybody
and you can just see the guy was his thought process is, do I pick it up or not? Do I pick it up or not? It's like, oh my God.
And the other stars of the funeral were her pony, who was there at the side of the path waiting for her to go up, and on the pony's saddle was her favourite horse, her favourite scarf that she would wear when she rode her pony. And the two corgis were there too, the two youngest corgis, because unfortunately she lost her oldest dog, who was 18 only a couple of months ago, and was really distraught by it, because she's had about 50 or 60 dogs in her life.
Yeah.
And apparently Princess Diana used to say whenever you were around the Queen at Windsor Castle, all the corgis were like a moving carpet that moved ahead of her.
That's amazing.
There were so many of them.
Well, Susanna, it was absolutely amazing to see the courage and all the work you've done over the time. I'm sure you deserve a rest coming up. Are you going to get a break when you come back, or are you just straight back to the desk?
During the flight.
I know nothing. Every day is a surprise to me at the moment.
And we see her again in Perth in 7 years.
That's right. Thank you so much for talking to us this morning, Sue. I know it's been a very long day for
Lovely
you.
to talk to you.
Thank you, mate. Bye.
Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Time to catch up with our good friend Stevie Butler, writes all the great articles for the West Australian. And Steve, well, he gets on the ground when there's a story to be broken. He's there. Steve, good morning.
Yes, got the little nose to the ground all the way up in the Midwest yesterday, Sean. I even actually popped through Kalbarri just to check out that famous site where you got bogged last year.
Getting all the
highs. There's a beautiful big plaque there and a photo of you. It's a lovely thing.
Being helped by a West Coast supporter.
West Coast supporters,
Yeah, they've erected a statue. There's actually statues all around the state of people helping Sean.
So, Steve, up in the Midwest, so you're doing a story on Paddy Cripps and where it all started?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're in Northampton this morning. We were here yesterday, actually standing right outside the home hardware shop run by
the Hazelbys.
Parents of your former teammate, Paul Hazelby. So
is it Hazelby Hammers? What is it?
Hazelby Homeware.
Hazelby Hardware?
Hazelby Hardware, that's it, yeah.
So you go in there and see Rick, and he should be in there, I'd imagine?
Rick and Kerry, both in there yesterday. And look, the town is actually really buzzing. It's quite palpable here. There's just a real love in this town for all their boys, obviously, but for Paddy as well. And look, last night, yesterday afternoon, we put a bit of a feeler out through the school and those sorts of things to say, well, look, come down the Oval if you love Paddy Cripps and we'll take a photo of you. And we got there and the place was packed. There was hundreds of people there.
Wow.
So we took this great big photo of all and all kids came from everywhere, dressed in their Carlton shirts, in their in their Northampton Rams jumpers. Yep. It was just amazing. The whole Oval was virtually packed with people because they love Paddy Cripps. And when you walked around the town, we spoke to his first coach, Bob Hazelby. We caught up with a couple of his teachers yesterday. It's such joy here in this place. And for a town that's been absolutely belted by Cyclone Seroja and nearly flat, and there's still remnants of that. When you come into town, the bottom pub's still got a big fence around it and unworkable because it had its roof ripped off and other damage.
Yeah.
And when you think that their spirit was dampened and and belted around by Cyclone Seroja, to see this resilient little town bounce back and feel the joy of Patrick Cripps' Brownlow medal win is quite remarkable, actually.
You know what they should do? They should take they should have a thing in their law, their town law, of taking 5% of each child's future earnings.
Oh, gee, that's a good idea.
Because it's probably going to be an AFL star, and then you'll be able to always be able to.
High.
You know what I mean? But I want to know about the amount of stars, footy stars that are coming from that place. So, do they have a walk of fame there?
They do.
They do. Yeah.
Well, it's actually figurines, so they're sort of hologramic almost. There's a big panorama of the home oval here for the Rams.
Yep.
And in front of it are the 9 figurines of the guys who've all made it through the AFL, including Josh Kennedy and Patrick Cripps and several others, obviously Harry Taylor and Daniel Chick and many of them.
Hayes, you've got to give Hayes a mention because he'll be listening down the line.
Well, we've already given him a mention.
For all your hard-work needs.
His parents are still here. They're more important.
Yeah, true.
And then to look at that is quite amazing in the main street. And yesterday, I think by midnight, the publican at the top pub, Neville Tomlinson, had gone home. He'd found an image of the Brownlow medal on the website. He'd blown it up, printed it, laminated it, and hung it around Patrick Cripps' neck in that wall of fame. And it was there by midnight after he'd won his Brownlow medal. So that was cracking.
That must be amazing for these guys to go home and see how celebrated they are in their hometowns. Cowgill has done nothing for me. Natalie, I've not seen a poster of you up in Esperance.
No.
You know, I mean, what more can we do now?
And there's nobody else famous from Esperance. Do you know what I mean?
I'm trying to think who we haven't mentioned on this wall of fame. I mean, Andrew Lockyer, Liam Anthony, Tarkin Lockyer. There's been so many players who've come from there. And there's actually 2 Teakles who are now playing for Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide, one AFLW, one AFL, brother and sister, and they're likely to make their way into that walk too. There's a bit of room in front, apparently, where they can put a few more if they get them. But I would suspect that what both Josh Kennedy and Paddy Cripps have done this year, judging by the amount of kids who came on that oval yesterday, they've inspired a new generation of footballers up here.
It's actually amazing, really, isn't it? And
it's amazing.
In a small town, is it the strength of the junior club? What is it? Why are they producing these champions?
Well, there is a long-held tale about there was some lead in the water here back in the day.
That can't be because Esperance had that, and we had lead in the air, and it didn't help.
Well, I'm not sure that transferred to the lead in the pencil or not, but that's the story.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's been amazing.
There's also talk that it could be the wind that makes them strong up here because it is very blustery.
Yeah, no, Esperance has got that too.
See the bent over trees. Yeah, there you go. And but I just think it's almost role modelling. Like when you hear Paddy Cripps go up and say, "Look, I live next door to Daniel Chick, and I love Ben Cousins and Chris Judd, but he lived next door to Daniel Chick and wanted to play like him." I think there's a lot of that, and I think a lot of these kids yesterday would be saying, "I want to play like Paddy Cripps," and they may well do it. And I just loved how he got up and represented Northampton beautifully when he said during his speech, "I'd love to be sober this time next year."
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with the role modelling thing, Steve. I reckon that's a really good point. And lastly, whenever I go through Northampton, I'm told to make sure I stop at the bakery. Have you been to the bakery yet?
No, but we've been told to go this morning. They tell me it's the 4th best sausage roll in the state.
Ooh, 4th best. I mean, I like their modest claim. Do you know what I mean?
But then again, there's no ambit claim there.
Yeah, get 3, put them in a bag, bring them home, lock them in the freezer. We'll try them when we get back from break.
I will do that for you, Nathan. I do most things that you ask me to do, and that will be one of them.
That's right. And then before then you have to pop into Nova, you have to pull the meat out of the fridge.
Pussy Willow. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Stephen.
And the Catters for me on Saturday.
All right, the Catters, right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They're in good form, aren't they?
They certainly are. Thanks, Steve.
Chat soon.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Sean.
So we are going out for a bit of a team dinner tonight, and we're going to the fanciest of all places, Rockpool. Very exciting stuff. Dad, our mum and Dad are coming. Megan's coming. We've got Ali. We've got a group of us, and Dad's already gone onto the Rockpool website and checked out the dress policy, and sent me.
Has he gone shopping to buy an outfit, or
no? He's just been sending me photos of what he could possibly be wearing, and he's because he keeps on going, oh, they can't turn me away at the door. And I went, well, they won't, Dad.
Nathan, I woke up to a message this morning.
Dad's going for this. He's going for a blazer, a black polo, and some blue jeans and some black shoes.
I'm glad he thought about that. So
and tried it on.
The message I had this morning from Megan was, what's the dress policy? Have you not been to a restaurant? She's been to a restaurant.
What's she talking about?
I think people get.
She's got heaps of nice clothes. It's not going to be an issue.
I think people get bedazzled by Rockpool. You know what I mean?
She's been there.
Rockpool's Neil Perry,
She's been there.
Yeah, Neil Perry.
Yeah. You know, so it's like they're things like Rockpool and Nobu. It's
just
a bit like,
pop a frock on, Megan. You'll be fine.
You know, this is a bit classy.
Yeah.
Like I'm having dinner at Buckingham Palace. Very exciting stuff. So the first thing that we do when we realise someone is buying us food is we go straight to the menu. And then when you realise someone else is paying for it, what do? You don't even look at the dish. You go straight to the prices. And we've found something on here which is $260.
What do we get for $260?
The Robbins Island Wagyu. It's an all beef, it says, from 9+ marble score. It's a ribeye on the bone, 500 grams, $260. That seems to be the most expensive thing on the menu.
Don't get any sides with that either.
No sides.
No, you don't.
Well, there's so many sides. I mean, the mac and cheese at Rockpool is
obviously
amazing. The hand-cut chips, you can really tell they've been handcrafted. So that's an extra 15, an extra 10 there. You know what I mean? It adds up.
Maybe some greens.
But, you know, I'm just going to reiterate, we're not paying. So Dad, I sent the menu to Dad and Dad was like, oh, my God, did you see that steak? And I went, yeah, I know. And he goes, well, you can't get that. And I said, well, Dad, it just takes one person.
That's right.
And then Dad goes, will Sean get it? And I said, well, if anyone at the table will, it'll be Sean.
It'll be Sean or Amy, our producer's husband.
Yes, Alex. He'll have it.
He's likely to have it.
So the first thing I'll do when I go into Rockpool and they come into the table, they'll say still or sparkling. I'll have to go sparkling. I never go, tap water is what I normally would do.
Yeah, when you're paying.
I have the tap water because I'm paying. In this case,
sparkling.
Let's go to sparkling.
Yeah. And we want them to go to the Himalayas to get it.
So when it comes to I want to go something expensive.
Well, that's it. So that's $260, right? There is a $220 ones, but what, are we poor?
Can you push it too far? Can you take the piss out of this because someone else is paying?
I'm pretty sure people out there have been in a situation where someone's taking the piss out of this.
We're not going to buy $1,000 bottle of wine.
You aren't?
No.
Yeah, but 4 people ordering that steak is $1,000.
So therefore, it's okay.
You can't not make the most of this opportunity, can you?
Well,
it's not as though we get out.
For people that don't realise, so this is, I'm getting, because I've had it before, I'm getting the David Blackmore's Wagyu brisket pie with sweet potato puree and pie sauce. That's a $49 pie. That's $49.
So average spend.
So average spend, they're usually around $50. So I mean, really, is $260 that bad? I encourage it.
I know you will.
But if someone did it to me, I'd be enraged.
Yeah, because you're paying.
God, I'd be enraged. We want to know when you've been in a situation where somebody else is paying for something or you are the somebody else that is paying for someone and someone has gone ridiculous.
Remember I told you that story about how we'll go out for Megan's lunch in January and my son Cooper, who told us a week before he's a vegetarian and wouldn't eat meat, saw that the most expensive thing was on the menu was that steak and he ordered it. I wanted to strangle him. I could have got him in a full Nelson, I would have.
Nathan, Nat and Sean in podcast form.
We're in an interesting position tonight. Our bigwigs are taking us to Rockpool for dinner and there's a $260 steak on the menu. Do we buy it?
Now, we're thinking Sean should start the ordering and then the dominoes will fall.
So Brian's looking towards me, your dad.
Dad would love it. Dad would love it, but he wouldn't do it on his own.
I've got to say, I'm kind of hoping that Alex, our producer's husband, because
if anybody's going to do it, it's Alex.
So if Alex
he's got no skin in the game, they can't find him.
If Alex orders it, then you...
Well, I'll be like, yeah, I'll have the same, I guess.
Then Dad will go, what do you
see the price
What are you guys talking about? What, there's a $260 steak? I wouldn't have a clue about that. I actually took a friend of mine that was on a reality TV show over out for breakfast over the road at the Subiaco Hotel one morning. And literally I said, like, oh, come on, I'll take you out and I'll spot you breakfast. Yeah. Anyway, she had a pretty big night the night before. She ordered 4 Bloody Marys, and they are like $20-something each. I spent. I just thought I was paying $30 or something for breakfast. I spent like $80 or $90 on her booze, and I had a cup of tea, and she was just there ordering it and ordering it and ordering it. I was like, every time she ordered another one, I'd be like, I was looking at her like, oh, is this? Where's Ashton Kutcher come out?
So that is the question. What happened when someone else was paying? Adam's in Singleton. Hello.
Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Hello, Adam. Okay. What's your story?
Well, this was set in London. I worked for a small firm that made loudspeakers, and out of the blue, they decided to take us all into the centre of London for a meal.
Yeah.
Now, I was 20, and I had never been into a posh restaurant before, and it was a beautiful meal. And at the end, I noticed the grown-ups, i.e., management, were enjoying a cigar. And I says, I wouldn't mind one of those. And I'd never had one before.
Yes.
And so they ordered me one, and this waiter comes over, opens the box, and pulls out this huge cigar. Oh, my God. Took a minute to light it. I must have taken about 3 drags on it and decided I hated it and stubbed it out. And I looked at the bill at the end of it, and there were £100 each cigar.
Oh, Adam!
That's not the end of it. They gave us tickets and says, right, we'll meet you at the nightclub. It was the Hammersmith Palais.
Yes.
And being 20, I've been to a nightclub before. I knew the deal. You stand outside and you wait to get rejected.
You got to be with girls. That's the thing, isn't it, Adam? They go, if you let you in with a couple of chicks.
Oh, no, and we're all boys from the warehouse, and this is, our stars are in our eyes, and we're like, this is mad. And we get near the front thinking, these huge bouncers are going to laugh at us. And we showed our tickets, and I swear they bowed. And I'm thinking, what the hell does it sound? It says VIP on the ticket. I thought, what's that? You should have come to the front, mate. You've got to go in now. I thought, oh, right, okay. And we go in, and anyway, have a few drinks, and the management get a bit tired being 40-odd, and I was only 20. And the boss comes up to me, he says, you look sober. Here's £1,000. Make sure everyone has a good time.
Oh, did you put it in your pocket and go home?
Well, no, I was a bit more cunning. There happened to be a table of women right next to us.
Yes.
Who looked a bit thirsty.
Yes.
So I may have diverted some of the funds their way.
Yes.
And made sure they had a good time, which in turn ensured I had a good time.
There we go.
Adam,
Adam, you high roller.
Well, okay, so make the most of the opportunity.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, my God, Adam, that
Thank
was
you, Adam.
a really
that
lovely
story
journey.
Had everything.
Yeah. Helen's in Alkimos. Hi, Helen.
Good morning, guys.
Hi, Helen. All right, so were you the one paying or were you making someone pay?
No, sorry, it was my boss paying. I'd been at this company for maybe 2 months, and we're only a small team. There's only maybe 8 of us, and we went out. One of the ladies left, and we went out for a leaving lunch. And, I've worked in big corporate companies where if you go out for a leaving lunch when someone leaves, you pay for your own meal. So I kind of thought that I was paying for my own meal. So we went out for this restaurant, and, everyone's all ordering, and then I order, the cheapest thing on the menu because I'm a tight ass. So I ordered a burger and chips, and I had a water.
Yes.
And then, and then everyone's meal comes out, and my boss is like, what did you order the most boring thing on the, the menu for? And I was like, I feel like a burger, what's wrong with that? And then I realised that the guys in our team, there's 4 of them, had all ordered a $110 tomahawk steak to eat.
When does it dawn on you?
And beers after beers after beers, and there I sat with my burger and my water.
Oh. When did you realise? And then you go, can I just
have 6 desserts?
And then now I'm waiting for our next team lunch, and it hasn't happened yet.
Now, remember the first time?
Order $110.
Yeah, exactly.
The first time Nellie and I ever experienced gold class, right? The concept of gold class. So it was at Inaloo, and then we went to go and see a movie. Can't remember what the movie was, but I do remember one thing. They said you can order whatever you want off the menu, and we were like, okay, well, here we go. So Natalie actually ordered, quite reasonably.
Politely.
I went ballistic. I ordered bloody 5 different dishes or whatever, and then while I'm in there, before any of the dishes arrive, I decide, okay, I'm going to need chicken tenders as well. And then I ordered chicken tenders, and then because it was gold class was right at the start, they used to bring the cloth, they'd bring the thing out, and they'd reveal it under a cloche, and then suddenly just this it
was like
freeway of food was coming towards
the royal waiters were bringing in the banquet,
and I don't have a big table there, so it's all just sitting on the side table. Anyway, it got to the point where, and then when the chicken tenders came out, I couldn't eat any of this food, so I had wrapped chicken tenders, and I put them in my pockets. I put a couple under the seat. I was stashing food and hiding it in gold class because I was mortified. Anyway, it was great fun.
This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Sean.
Hey, first of all, I'm going to start off with Tasmania, and they're going to have a team, so it's going to likely come in 2027 at this point in time.
Oh, they're not good at naming things, are they? What's their basketball team?
The Jack Jumpers.
Yeah, I'm with you, Nate.
Stupid.
It probably means something to them.
But I have there.
Tigers, Devils.
Okay, so there's a devil and a tiger that's been done, hasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what else has got Tasmania?
They could co-opt Devils, I reckon. Tasmania Devils. Do you know what I mean? Like that.
I think so. I think it just works.
Yeah.
What about the cousin lovers?
Yeah. I mean...
That works too.
The Tasmanian two heads.
So it's 2027. At this point in time, the AFL have ticked off on everything. What the AFL also want them to do is build a new stadium. In the paper, they're reporting that the stadium cost is, $750 million, which, it's always going to be $1 billion. But the thing about their stadium design is they're going to have a roof because they
kind of need it.
Clubs to come down there and not have to worry about the weather, and it's attractive football.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see what happens there. But that would be lovely. It's
so in Hobart or Launceston?
Down in Hobart, and it's right on the water too, the way it
like Bell Reeve Oval is, yeah.
All right,
it does look fantastic.
They've thought about where they're putting their stadium, so it connects to the place.
Yeah, but they haven't got the money for it at this point in time.
They're having a cake stall.
Could be
got to sell some apples.
Yeah.
In the meantime, there's a couple of players who are looking to trade teams at this point.
It's moving season, isn't it?
Yeah. But you know what I found, Nat, this year? In the past, I think it's starting to wane that you're a one-team player.
Yeah, that's a thing of the past.
Yeah.
It's good, and that's because careers are football. Football's a career, not just, a sport.
But also, I blame social media. It's people's attention spans. Seriously, I think that people don't care about staying in places as long as what they do anymore.
And also, they're
right.
going for the money. They realise that they've got a short-lived, you've said that's Junior Rioli's doing that, and if it's good for him, it's good for everyone.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to still get your head around it with my mindset, but that's the facts. And these guys are getting told that this is a career and it's a short-term thing. So Josh Dunkley's leaving the Western Bulldogs and he's going to go to Brisbane on $700,000 for 6 years, so that's a good deal. Griff's deal is supposed to be around the 6-year mark, so we'll find out if that is true when we come in at this
so that's
point
to North.
In time.
That's what North have offered.
There's a couple of guys still at Fremantle looking to move clubs. Lloyd Meek is one of them, who's a ruckman you guys don't know too much about, but he would play in just about every other AFL team.
Yeah, it's interesting.
He'd be a really good fit for the West Coast Eagles. He's a massive unit and he's only going to get better as time goes on.
So if you want to move clubs and the club denies you, how do you move forward as a player?
We'll get Rory Rob on the line.
Yeah, and how do they perceive you knowing you don't want to be there? What's that about? Because it's like wanting to break up with someone, they say no, and then you exist in the relationship.
Yes.
Yeah, I think professionally, what I've seen in the past, they've all been able to move forward. And Rory Lobb's a great example because he wanted to leave. And then they had a discussion afterwards. You're not leaving. This
is last season.
Yeah, last season.
So he wants to leave again.
Yes.
Here's the thing, Nate.
This moment you're trapped.
So he's
an abusive relationship.
He's going to leave again. I know Belly said he's not going to, but after he declared himself last year, he still played a really great season for Freo. So they were able to get him into the team, and he was fine with the whole thing. But knowing that he wanted to leave, I'm sure all year they would have been dealing with other teams going.
But Sean, most relationships, right? Like you can put another year in. Even when it's bad.
Yeah.
But then at the end of that year, when you see there's light at the end of the tunnel, you realise there's another year. It's like, oh, my God.
Well, I mean,
don't know what you're talking about.
There's a precedent for players to sit out the remaining year. You know, Cam McCarthy did that, didn't he?
Yeah,
Where he said, I'm not going to play.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
If you won't let me go, then I'm just not going to play.
Well, that's just they threaten him all the time with different things. And that comes from managers trying to work.
But I mean, that's what he did. Situation. He did sit out, though.
He did. Yeah. He did. So there's plenty more to come, and we'll wait and see what happens with those players who are wanting to move and whether the clubs let them move at this stage.
Well, speaking of somebody that we thought was going to move and isn't, Buddy Franklin signed on for another year with Sydney.
Another year. I did think that over the last month, Nat, that I think that he's had his time. Like, I think he's just going to be out there and not doing much next year. I think he's beaten.
Well, he's got all the money. He's got all the money, doesn't he?
He does. And just quickly before I wind up, just quick shout out. Yesterday I was down at the beach and everyone's in the water wearing how cold was it yesterday?
It was pretty chilly.
Yeah, so all the kids were out there surfing, wearing booties. Some were wearing hats, the whole thing just to make sure they're warm. There was a guy out there in board shorts, no wetsuit at all. He was out there for hours.
As somebody who really feels the cold, you felt that, didn't you?
That is ridiculous.
Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Well, look who it is. Griffin Logue, our former Fremantle docker. What is going on in the life of Griffin Logue?
Maybe you defected to another radio station, Griff.
Hi, Griff.
No, not quite. Still here. How you going?
I'm a bit upset. It's just that when someone wants out of the relationship, usually you talk about it, and basically it feels like you've just moved out. We've come home and there's a posted on the fridge. So what's your problem?
Oh, there's still Nova over in Melbourne, isn't there?
Interesting.
Wow, okay.
That's very interesting, isn't it, Sean?
So, Griff, it has been very interesting last week, as Nathan's kind of pointing out. So give us a rundown how this has all played out on your side of the fence.
Yeah, obviously, very interesting and a new thing for me. I guess, I didn't really make a call on it and come to a final decision until only last Wednesday, just gone. So sat down with my manager and my dad at the end of the season once everything had unfolded, and basically came to the agreement that it was going to be the best decision for me. It was a tough decision in my life, I think, as well. And I guess I'm happy and excited now, but still, it's still tough.
Where did we go wrong? Personally, just so we know we're moving into the next relationship, we can know what to do better. Where did we fail you?
It was mostly you, mate. There's too many shit jokes.
Yeah, no, that sounds
well. That's obviously the wrong show.
He gets a lot of that feedback.
My stuff is gold.
Griff, is it what's the attraction? Is it a longer contract? Is it more money, or is it the guarantee of being able to play in your preferred position?
What about all three?
Most of it came from the guaranteement of the playing position and just getting locked in by
being up forward's not for you.
No, I don't think so. And I just kind of got along really well with the coach over there, and that resonated with me really well, and it's something that made me really kind of excited and felt really backed in, and
cool.
And kind of keen to just go out there and perform.
But it is like a new girl on the scene where, you feel good and like, they're talking it up and they want to bring you.
Yeah.
They want to do everything for you.
Then you find out they talk too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. There's always that whole saying the grass is always greener, but there was plenty to weigh up, and I feel like myself and my dad and family and of course the manager kind of ended up coming to the right decision, and I'm sticking by it.
So a lot of people are demanding many answers from you right now. There is one important one that I'm pretty sure no one has touched, but yet I think is the most important of your career, and that is, what is with those shorts that you're wearing? They've been in the paper twice now. They've been online. Chinatown Market Ride the Lightning. Explain it to everybody, please, Griffin.
Geez, I did not think that would even matter, but all right.
It's all anyone's talking about, mate.
Yeah.
Literally, it was
They're a statement.
It was the Queen's funeral was the second story on the news.
They're just actually, I got them from our mate Tommy Sheridan after he stayed on my couch for a few months. His last parting gift was a bit of fresh kit from it's from My Life in Fremantle, so a bit of a plug. But
right.
Chinatown's big Janus Antetokounmpo's main brand, so they're pretty hip over over in America. He's a two-time MVP.
Yeah, right.
Brownlow.
Yeah,
Brownlow for the US, but I didn't think they'd. No, I'm not much of a fashionista, but I just whacked them on and didn't think much of it.
Well, my second question is, when you put them on, did you walk past a mirror?
I don't think I've checked myself and my kit in front of a mirror for a number of years.
Best we put that into the rotation.
In the morning, but might have to start bringing it in.
So, Griff, what's the plan here?
Oh wait, we've got the merch.
We've got My Life.
Go through that.
Actually, there's some things on there I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, no, they got some nice shoes in there too, Griff. They do a lot of shoes and stuff like that in there.
A lot of fresh kit in there. A lot of fresh.
Nathan, it's across the road. The shop's across the road from where Meat and Bud used to be.
Chinatown Market.
Meat and Bud used to be.
Yeah, okay, I know exactly the shop you're talking about.
Yeah.
The Chinatown Market looks like you're going to break into my car. Look at it. Is that marijuana leaves? Griffin.
Where, on the shorts?
He's just got the shorts.
Not on those ones. There's another shorts there that have marijuana leaves.
Looking at this, you could have done worse.
I'm not wearing those ones.
No, I know, but they is that what is that?
I'm riding the Lightning.
Yeah, no, you're riding something.
I'm not smoking the herb. I'm riding the Lightning.
Griff, I am a little bit concerned about the lifestyle that you're going to be leading in Melbourne. You're not going to be strolling down the beach every morning for a little bit of a, swim in your budgie smugglers and then coffee at the Orange Box kiosk after that. You're not going to be able to live that life anymore.
No, you're right, and that's that'll definitely be something that I miss, and not something I've taken for granted as well, doing that every day. So, I'll have to catch up and do that for the next few weeks.
Tabs? Who's thinking of Tabs? He's going to have to get a new roommate.
Hashtag.
I know. That was the biggest thing, yeah.
You had to break up with him as well.
Do you guys own anything joint together? Did you buy any joint purchases?
They got separate coffee machines and everything.
Separate coffee machines, so yeah.
No, coffee machine's mine, and I beat him in FIFA for a TV, so he gets to keep it. But
jeez.
So, Griff, from here, what is the plans from here? We know that footy season's finished. You cleared out your lock like every other player does. So, how does the process work for you before you're in Melbourne and in the blue and white?
On the blue and white, shin boner.
Honestly, not too sure over the small intricacies of it. I'm heading to an off-season trip where I'm heading away with a few boys to America for a few weeks, and then I guess once I get back, I just need to be training will start early mid-December, and then I'll be over there by kind of mid-November, getting settled in. I'd say.
So the deal hasn't been done yet, though, has it?
No, then
you're not officially traded. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like it's been done by the way Griffin's talking.
No, but the AFL have given North Melbourne a couple of future
conversations.
So one of them will be used for Griff.
Well, you know what? It's been nice, Griff. I've enjoyed you.
I guess you're dead to us now.
And from us, Griff and Logue, to you, all I can say is ride the lightning. Ride the lightning.
That's not bad. Yeah, well done. You did that one well.
Don't be a stranger, Griff.
Yeah, absolutely, Griff.
You're part of the family still.
Good luck.
No, thank you guys very much.
You're just now a distant cousin, that's all.
No.
That's all right.
Do you reckon one of your things has been able to jump, obviously, Griff? Do you reckon with your pockets full of money that you'll be able to do that next season playing for North Melbourne?
I reckon I'll be fine to jump. Don't worry about that.
Sean, don't you worry. If he's got a nice steady pair of Chinatown markets on there, I mean, he's going to be able to jump as much as he can. Griff and Logue, miss you, love you. Sort of upset with you.
Never see you again. Thanks, Griff.
All right, see you guys.
Bloody shin boner. Look at him go.
Shin boner of the century.
Joining the chorus.
Yeah, look out.
It's the last time we ever speak to him.
Jeez.
Who?
I don't know who you're talking about. Let's get a new one.
Nathan, Nat and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.